Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom, sponsored by K-12 Sports Tech on the Education Lady podcast. We're going to be right back with today's Wednesday Wisdom guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, please don't hit that fast forward button. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. You should be using them too. So listen to our shout outs. It's only going to take about 3 minutes. Then listen to our Wednesday Wisdom segment and then go and visit each one of these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to K-12 Sports Tech for sponsoring Wednesday Wisdom. You know, K-12 Sports Tech is a unique platform that helps athletic directors and vendors connect through education and hands-on consulting services. Athletic directors are also invited to join the K-12 Sports Tech AD think tank and help influence how companies shape their tech to better serve schools. To find out more information or to join the think tank, go to k12sportstech.com. That's k12sportstech.com. We also want to thank Gipper for their support. You know, your student athletes are on social media, and so are a lot of their parents. If they're not seeing content that celebrates their accomplishments and promotes your programs, you're missing out on a great opportunity. Go to Gipper.com. Their team is going to have you creating world-class content in seconds, and it's so easy, even I can do it. The website is Gipper.com. Check them out today. We want to say thank you to the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. Now, I didn't get my master's from Ohio University, but my assistant athletic director did, and along with 1,000 other people, and it was a great experience. It's very affordable, just 20 months, totally online. And while you're earning your master's, Ohio University also includes 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Go to ohio.edu/info/MAA, the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. We'd like to thank Sideline Interactive for their support. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Take a look at their indoor scoring tables and video boards. You can also schedule a live online demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com for more information. We'd like to say thank you to Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform that you're going to use every single day. Things like scheduling, uploading rosters and scores, communication, student athlete eligibility and clearance. Who doesn't do that every day? Home Campus does all of these things, and it does them better and faster than other platforms. To get started, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. We want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame for their support. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record board for all the teams, for all the events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's also a great way to tell your school's unique history and share your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check them out today. We'd like to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. In my school, we use surveys for everything: kids, coaches, parents, you name it. And the information that came back was incredibly valuable because ADs already get feedback, but usually it's from a small group that just wants to complain. Athletic Surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% that supports your program. And when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, having that kind of data is incredibly valuable. Same with your principal, same with your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. We want to say thank you to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers more. We'd like to say thanks to Snap Raise. Have you ever spent time with a fundraiser weeks and weeks usually, and been disappointed in the results, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. It's hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with great success. Our coaches loved it, our parents loved it, and it works. Go to snapraise.com. You can check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you've just found it. Go to snapraise.com. And we like to thank Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Student athletes loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We have one of our regulars back with us. I had to go back in the archives to check. This is her 5th time presenting. She's a podcast veteran. Regular listeners will certainly recognize Julie Kelly. Julie's a certified athletic administrator. She's the director of athletics at Providence Classical Christian Academy. That's in Arkansas. Has a tremendous background in athletics. Again, regular listeners will recognize her contributions. But Julie Kelly, welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
Thanks so much, Jake. I'm excited to get to be here again today.
Well, you and I were talking for our listeners, we're recording this August 30th. Some schools, I just talked to an AD in Minnesota. They don't start classes until after Labor Day, very old school. I talked to an AD here in Florida. They're in week 4 of classes and sports and games. So it's a busy time regardless of when you start school. Julie, what do you have for our listeners on this segment of Wednesday Wisdom?
Yeah, so we just started school a couple of weeks ago. So we are in the middle of the grind and the grit. Of course, our student athletes who are in fall season have started practicing right after our dead period, which was right after the 4th of July. So we've been going strong for quite a while now. But on the athletic side of things, for me, when everyone comes back on campus, all the coaches are back, the student athletes are back, it gets really, really crazy. Some things that I have found that have been helpful for me is I have to be super organized. If I'm not, and I don't have a schedule for my day, if I'm not managing my time and prioritizing, my life is completely out of whack. Before we came on, I mentioned to you that we had 3 volleyball games just this week, and I didn't count golf and tennis and cross country. So looking at that, I have to really be strategic in what I do with my time, especially because I want my family to know too that they are a part of my priority list. We all know that emergencies come up and last minute type things happen. And so sometimes our job takes priority, but it really is important to make sure that we're managing our time, being intentional to make a calendar. I have to start from the 360-foot view of making a calendar by season. So I put everything together based on what I'm going to be doing for that season. I have a fall season, a winter, and then a spring. And then that narrows down the funnel into the month. What am I doing this month? What does it look like? Administrative meetings that I'm having, coaches meetings that I'm having, staff meetings. And then it goes down even further. What does my week look like? So it's kind of like, how do you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So I break it down into smaller and smaller manageable bites. So, and then even farther than that, every night I look at my calendar so that tomorrow I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I know who I'm meeting with, and that my meetings aren't a surprise. Because if I'm not intentional to do that and I wake up and I show up, my day will take care of me instead of me getting to take care of my day. So for athletic directors, I feel like that's probably the most important part of managing your team well. Another part of that is delegation. I'm an overachiever. I like things to be done right. I like it to be done my way a lot of times, but I've learned to delegate more so. It may not get done exactly how I want it to be done, but it allows me to um, help my coaches become better coaches. It helps my administrative assistant know how to help me by giving her some things that I know that I can trust her with. Or volunteers. We have people all the time who say, if there's anything that you need, let me know. I'd be glad to help you. And a lot of times we say, oh, thanks for offering, but we don't always take them up on that. Um, it's really important that we delegate and we trust and we empower the people that are wanting to learn and grow on our staff. So that is one thing too, even I'm continuing to grow up. And then next is communication. I know we talk about this all the time, but truly communication is such a huge, sorry, there's a construction worker outside my window. So if you can hear that, I'm sorry.
No worries.
But yeah, so one of the things that we talk about is handling the most urgent things. Of course, the bus hasn't shown up, another athletic director is calling you, all those things that you have to handle in the immediate time. But there are things that can wait. And sometimes in our urgency to try to take care of things as quickly as possible, we work on handling things that could have waited 24 to 48 hours. But a prompt response is important, especially to parents, because what's going on in their child's life and what is a big deal to them, they're waiting to hear back from you. So if their child was upset after practice or they have something to share with you, they're really not wanting to wait, a whole week to hear back from you because it's their child who is the most valuable thing to them. So, one other thing too is that in that communication, if there's ever a situation, we kind of get lost in the tone of things with text and email. If you can ever pick up the phone and call a parent or another AD or someone, especially who's disgruntled, parents that can hear your tone over the phone and can hear your heart, there's a lot of weight that is carried with an actual conversation or even a face-to-face conversation, because sometimes things are missed and lost in communication in in Word documents. Um, what a couple last things is lean on other athletic directors. I know for me at the beginning of this season, we've kind of had some new changes. We started a new fundraiser that not everyone was happy about. Sometimes it's a tough gig, and there are um, really heavy days. And so there's no one else that gets what your job is like than another athletic director. And so on those days, my encouragement to you is just to reach out to someone that you trust. If you don't have a mentor, you should get one. I think that I've mentioned to you before that Dr. Dustin Smith has been a constant person in my life. So and he's seasoned and he's been in the business longer than I have. So when I have struggles, I reach out to him. And sometimes just visiting with someone else when something seems like a mountain, after visiting with another athletic director and getting some perspective, it begins to feel more like a molehill. So, and then last, just work on being positive. The heaviness of things in our world and in our communities can sometimes be very heavy when you're getting lots of parent emails or you got a kid that kicked out of a game or a coach. And so those are normal. Those are part of our jobs. We're created to solve problems. That's what we do every day. But we also did this because we love kids. We love the job. And so just remember that what your goal is ultimately, and just work at trying to put your game face on, and just be positive.
Boy, that was a master class in some, let's say, good tools for the toolbox. The one that really sticks out for me, and again, they were all great, was the one on delegation, because it was
Mm,
something that I struggled with when I became an AD. But once I finally learned how to do it and let go. I mean, the benefits, not just for me because things were no longer on my plate, but for those individuals that, became, whether they were game managers or an assistant AD, they grew in their role, which allowed them to be better, which helped our kids, our coaches, et cetera. Yeah, always great stuff. Julie Kelly, you're always the best. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out and add you to their network, or find out more how you do things at your school, what's the best way they can connect with Julie Kelly?
My email is probably the best way, and that's AD as in athletic director at providence-academy.com.
Okay. And Julie's information is also in the NIAAA portal, NIAAA member. She's also on LinkedIn. Um, Julie Kelly, thanks as always for sharing with our listeners on Wednesday Wisdom. All the best with the fall season as it unfolds. And as always, looking forward to seeing you in Austin at the NADC conference.
Absolutely. Great to see you, Jake.
Okay. For our listeners, just a reminder, we upload the Zoom recordings of all of these interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Um, we do this just about every day. We share stories and best practices. So hopefully you'll come back for another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Julie Kelly is the best. Make sure you connect with her. Speaking of the best, we want to thank our sponsors. K-12 Sports Tech sponsors our Wednesday Wisdom segments, along with our other great sponsors. Gipper, Ohio University's online masters in athletic administration, home campus, Snap, Raise, hometown ticketing, Sideline Interactive, athletic surveys by LifeTrack, Vital Signs, Wall of Fame, and Huddle. Please visit these sponsors. They're all great sponsors. You should be using them at your school. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast.